Right, today is day 3 of Easter. So I want you to go get page 215. Go get page 215. Also, while you're going to go get page 215, I want you to go get day 3 of your booklet. So you need page 215. Also, day 3 of your booklet. So first thing that we're going to look at right now is day 3 of your booklet. So let's open up your day 3 booklet. It says, Jesus' arrest, crucifixion, and burial. It comes from Mark 14, verses 43 through 50. Also Mark 14, verse 53. Mark 15, verse 1 through 47, and lastly, John 19. So read along as I read aloud. Jesus had done many miracles and taught the people the truth about God. He told the people that he was the Messiah, the Son of God. Many of the Jewish leaders were furious because they did not believe that Jesus was who he said he was. They were afraid that Jesus was gaining too many followers. This could mean they would lose their jobs, their popularity, their authority, and maybe even their country. Because they were afraid and angry, they looked for a way to kill Jesus. Judas, the disciple who betrayed Jesus, had arranged for Jesus' arrest. Judas led a group of Jewish leaders and soldiers to the place where Jesus was praying with several of his disciples. The soldiers grabbed Jesus and took him as their prisoner. One of the disciples had a sword with him. He took out his sword, struck the servant of the high priest, and cut off his ear. Jesus saw the hearts of the Jewish leaders. "Why are you treating me like a robber?" he asked. "I was with you every day in the temple, teaching people about God. And yet you never arrested me because people were watching. You came here at night to arrest me so that prophecy can be fulfilled." After Jesus was led away, his disciples left him, and all of them ran off. Then Jesus was taken to the high priest of the Roman governor. Then Jesus was taken to the high priest and to the Roman governor, Pontius Pilate. So, the Jewish leaders demanded that Jesus be sentenced to die by hanging on a cross, even though he had done nothing wrong. Pontius Pilate allowed the Jewish leaders to crucify Jesus. The next day was Friday. Jesus was cruelly beaten and made to wear a crown of thorns and a purple robe. He was forced to carry his cross until the soldiers made another man carry it for him to a hill called Golgotha or Calvary. There, he was hung between 2 other men. When Jesus knew that his work on the earth was done, he said, "It is finished." Then he died. One of the soldiers guarded those who were being crucified, cut Jesus' side with a spear, proving to those who were standing nearby that Jesus was truly dead. At least that's what they thought. But let's keep reading. A follower of Jesus named Joseph of Arimathea offered to bury Jesus in a new tomb. Joseph and a man named Nicodemus, another follower of Jesus, bought spices and wrapped the body of Jesus in grave clothes to begin to prepare it for burial. Together, they laid Jesus in the tomb. So let me tell you something. This was a hard day for those who watched Jesus on that cross. But then, 2 days later, it was a glorious day for those who watch him rise. But we're going to get into that on day 4, okay? But first, let's finish day 3. Day 3. So, during this time, Jesus is about to get arrested. What is he getting arrested for? He's getting arrested for doing absolutely nothing, but they said that he was a robber. They said he was a robber. So he was getting, I'm sorry, they didn't say that, but they was treating him like he was a robber. So although Jesus did nothing, they were treating him like he was a robber. So he said, I was with you every day in the temple teaching people about God, and you never arrested me because people were watching. So all of a sudden, picture you in Jesus' shoes. Picture you are in your classroom doing everything you needed to do, getting every worksheet done. You did nothing wrong. You did absolutely nothing wrong. But then there's these guards that come in there, or these policemen that come in there, and it's like, such a, get on the floor. You're under arrest. And you're like, well, why am I under arrest? I didn't even do anything. Why are you trying to lock me up? That's kind of how Jesus was. He was trying to figure out, why did the guards want him when he did absolutely nothing wrong? He did nothing wrong. But being Jesus, he obeyed. He obeyed because he knew that his suffering was not going to last long. So then they took Jesus. They took him to a higher priest, the Roman governor. So when they arrived to the Roman governor, the Jewish leaders demanded that Jesus be sentenced to death. They didn't even sentence him to like some years or to a couple of months or to 90 days. They automatically sentenced him to death. And then his death was to be hung on a cross. His death wasn't, well, I don't know if you guys know about that, so I'm not even going to bring that up. But his death wasn't your actual, any other death that we might see. Like, you might pass from old age, or you might pass from sickness, or things like that. His death wasn't like that. They made him hang, or they hung him on a cross. That was his death. That was the death sentence, or the death penalty that the Jewish leaders gave to the governor, the Roman governor, to give to Jesus. So Jesus is still trying to figure out, why am I getting a death sentence when I did nothing wrong? You don't even have proof that I did something wrong, but you're going to make me take a death sentence? So then the Jewish leaders crucified Jesus. The Jewish leaders crucified Jesus. They forced him to carry his own cross. So imagine, you may be about a good 30, 45 pounds maybe. And your parents force you to carry a 100-pound bag of potatoes. Do you know how heavy that is? This cross that Jesus had to carry, it wasn't light. It was definitely heavy. So Jesus had to carry his own cross that he was going to be crucified on. Not the robbers that was on the right and left hand side of him. He had to carry his own cross that he was going to be crucified on. And of course they don't mention it in here, but they actually gave the people an option. They gave them an option. They said, is it this robber, Jesus, or this robber? And they chose Jesus. So I'm going to give y'all a little tip of what my pastor preached about on Palm Sunday, which was not this Sunday that just passed, but the Sunday before it. He said that a lot of people, when you're focusing on Palm Sunday, you focus on the palm. No one really acknowledges the donkey. But the people who were waving the palms when Jesus arrived in Jerusalem on the donkey were the same people yelling, "Crucify him," the day of his arrest, the day of his crucifixion. These were the same people that waved their palm, saying glory or praise or singing praises to the Messiah as he arrived in on a donkey. They were the same people yelling, "Crucify him," on the day of his crucifixion. But let's stay with the story. Let's stay with the story. So now that he is on this cross and he's between the two robbers, he got a robber on his left and he has a robber on his right. He is in between the both of them. And when Jesus knew that he was completely done on earth, he knew that everything that he was supposed to do on earth was completely finished. He knew that he had conquered every goal that he had set. He said, "It is finished. My work here is done. It is finished." And then he died. But of course the guards, they wanted to make sure that he was dead. So they pierced him in the side. They pierced him in the side. And then they wrapped Jesus up and they put him in a tomb. So that's what we learned today. So now let's look at your page 115. Let's look at your page 115. All right. Number 1 says, number the events of Jesus' arrest in the order they happened. So you're going to read each one. You're going to read each one, and then you're going to write numbers 1 through 6 in each box in which the events happened. And then number 2 says, complete the sentences with governor, wrong, crucify, and priest. So let's read the first sentence. After Jesus was arrested, he was taken to the high... Let's see. Let's look back in here. It says, then Jesus was taken to the high priest and to the Roman governor. So he was taken to the... So after Jesus was arrested, he was taken to the high priest. So on the first line, you're going to write priest for a trial before the Jewish leaders. Because the Jewish leaders could not sentence a prisoner to death, Jesus was taken to Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor. So on the second line, you should have governor for trial. Pontius Pilate could not find anything that Jesus had done wrong. Remember, Jesus did nothing wrong. So he couldn't find anything that Jesus had done wrong. So on the third line, your word should be wrong. Even so, Pilate allowed the Jewish leaders to... What did they do to him on that cross? They even allowed him to crucify Jesus. So on the fourth line, you're going to write crucify. Now let's look at number 3. Number 3 says, Christians call the day that Jesus died Good Friday. Think about why this day is good. Color the picture. So think about why this day is good. Why do you think that this day is good? Why do you think that they call it Good Friday? You may have to do a little research, but that's fine. I love it when you guys do your research because the best research comes from the Bible. So why do you think that they chose to call Good Friday Good Friday? All right? So again, you're going to finish number 1, numbering the blocks in which they come or in which the situation happens. And then you're going to go down to number 3 and tell me, why do you think that they call Good Friday Good Friday? Or why do you think the crucifixion day is called Good Friday? All right, that is all for Bible today, and I will see you